Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving deep into something pretty common. You ready for this? Silicon.
Silicon.
Yeah. But forget computer chips and all that techie stuff for a sec. We're going way back to basics with silicon. Like silicon in nature, the most natural forms.
Right.
We've got some pretty cool sources lined up. One's a deep dive on the element itself.
Okay.
And the other,
It's just cool.
it explores silicon's role in plant and even human biology.
Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. Silicon's more than just tech. You ready for a fun fact?
Hit me with it.
It's the second most abundant element on Earth's crust.
Whoa.
Second only to oxygen.
No way. Okay, that's a good fact. I'm going to use that one. So basically the building blocks of, well, everything. Second to oxygen.
Exactly. You got it. It's in the ground we walk on, the buildings around us. Even your windows probably have silicon. But here's the thing. It's so reactive that we almost never see it in its pure form in nature.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost always bonded to other elements.
Huh.
Most often oxygen.
So silicon's a team player. It doesn't like to be alone.
Yeah, you could say that. And when it teams up with oxygen, they create compounds called silicates.
Silicates, okay.
Yeah, think of like everyday things, Sand, quartz crystals, even clay. You probably see these all the time and don't even realize there's this hidden silicon core.
Hold on. Quartz crystals. You're telling me those like beautiful amethyst geodes? Those are basically just silicon and oxygen.
Pretty much.
That is kind of blowing my mind right now. But speaking of the natural world, our sources mention something called phytoliths. And this is where things get really interesting.
Ah, yes. Phytoliths. They're kind of like tiny sculptures.
Sculptures.
Or even skeletons that plants create using silicon.
Plant skeletons. Okay, now you have to tell me more.
Okay, so as plants absorb silicic acid from the soil, they use it to build these microscopic structures, like inside their cells.
Wow.
And they're incredibly durable, made of silica. And here's the fascinating part. They're unique to each plant species. So like imagine, a botanist digging up fossilized phytoliths.
Okay.
You'll be able to tell what kinds of plants existed millions of years ago just from those tiny structures.
Wait, so each plant species leaves its own unique fingerprint, but in silicon?
Yeah, like a silicon fingerprint.
That's so cool. And these fingerprints last for millions of years. That's way cooler than any dinosaur bone I've ever seen.
It's true. It's pretty amazing. And it's more than just cool. It's actually crucial for the planet.
Oh, really?
See, phytoliths play a significant role in the carbon cycle.
Okay, so the carbon cycle. Now we're getting into some serious stuff. How do these plant skeletons actually impact something as big as the carbon cycle?
Well, remember how plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere?
Yeah, of course. Photosynthesis, right?
Exactly. So some of that carbon actually gets logged into these silicon structures, the phytoliths, as the plant grows. And then when the plant dies and decomposes, that carbon gets released back into the soil.
Huh.
So it's this fascinating loop.
Okay, so silicon's got this whole underground network shaping the world we see. But what about us? We've talked about rocks and plants and even dinosaurs. Where do humans fit into all of this?
Well, that's a question researchers are still trying to fully figure out.
Really?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Ah.
Silicon is present in our bodies. Every single cell, in fact.
Every cell. Are you serious?
Seriously. It's wild, right? But its exact role in human health. That's the mystery we're still unraveling. It's like we've got this one piece of the puzzle, but we don't have the whole picture yet.
Intriguing. Well, our sources did mention that our main source of silicon is, you guessed it, plants.
Exactly.
Makes sense though, right? Considering what we learned about those phytoliths.
Right.
So all those leafy greens, fruits, veggies, they're not just good for vitamins and minerals, they're our silicon delivery system.
Think of it that way. And it's not just the exotic stuff either. Enjoy a cold beer.
Who doesn't?
Barley, a key ingredient in beer, happens to be a silicon accumulator. Even bananas, green beans. Depending on where you live, even your drinking water can contribute to your silicon intake.
So we don't need to be snacking on sand to get our silicon fix.
Probably not the best idea.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, how important is silicon for our health? I mean, is this something we should be thinking about every day?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Sure.
Unfortunately, we don't have a definitive answer yet.
Okay.
Silicon isn't officially classified as an essential nutrient. Not yet, at least. But, and this is important, there's a growing body of research showing a potential link between low silicon intake and weaker bones.
Weaker bones. So all those plant skeletons, the phytoliths, Could they actually be playing a role in building our OWN skeletons? That's kind of poetic when you think about it.
It's possible there are studies that suggest silicon might be involved in collagen production, and collagen is crucial for strong bones, skin, connective tissue.
So silicon might be more than just a bit player in our bodies. It could be a key factor in our structural integrity.
Exactly. And the research goes even further than that. Scientists are exploring potential links between silicon and cognitive function, immune response, even wound healing.
Wow.
Seems like this element wears a lot of hats, even at the cellular level.
This is pretty amazing stuff. So should we all be stocking up on silicon supplements? Like, is that the next big thing?
Well, it's not quite that simple.
Gee.
The research is super promising,
Yeah.
but it's still early. Our sources really emphasize that we need more research before everyone goes out and buys a year's supply of silicon supplement.
Right. Makes sense.
And here's another thing. Not all silicon is created equal.
Okay, yeah. I was wondering about that. It's all about those chemical bonds, right?
Exactly. You got it. Remember we talked about silicon being bound to other elements?
Yeah.
That actually affects how much our bodies can actually use, how much we can absorb. Scientists call it bioavailability.
So, like, downing a handful of sand probably isn't going to do much.
Probably not, no.
Yeah.
The silicon in sand, it just doesn't have good bioavailability. For now, the best way to get your silicon is the old-fashioned way. Eat your fruits and veggies.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
It does. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, those are all those natural silicon accumulators we were talking about.
Right. Back to team plants. But before we wrap up, something else from the research really caught my eye. We talked about silicon helping plants deal with stress, right? Drought, pests, all of that. Could we use that knowledge to, like, help us grow more resilient crops, especially with climate change and all?
That's a really great question, and it has some huge implications. And yeah, scientists are definitely looking into that right now. Imagine manipulating the silicon levels in crops to help them withstand tougher conditions. It could be a game changer for food security, especially with all the environmental pressures we're facing.
So, silicon, the silent guardian of our future food supply. Who knew? This deep dive has been full of surprises. Silicon's everywhere, it seems, and it affects everything. That's it for today's deep dive into silicon. It's more than just computer chips, folks. It's in the earth, it's in our food, it's even a part of us, and we're just starting to understand how it all works. Thanks for listening.